Hey there, fight fans! Have you ever wondered what kind of sacrifices your favorite fighters make to step into the octagon? Well, we're about to dive deep into the world of MMA weight cuts. And trust me, it's as brutal as the fights themselves. Ready to step into our virtual octagon? Let's get started. First off, let's understand what a weight cut is. In mixed martial arts, or MMA, fighters often cut weight to qualify for a lower weight class. They dehydrate themselves, often losing 10 to 20 pounds in the days leading up to the weigh-in. Sounds tough, right? Well, imagine doing this while also training for a fight. Valerie Letourneau, a Canadian mixed martial artist, is one such fighter who's known for her severe weight cuts. Letourneau has always seemed on the verge of passing out each time she steps on the scale. She has fought at 140 pounds against Alexis Davis and Sarah Kaufman, which makes it clear that she cuts a significant amount of weight. Letourneau herself has spoken about the brutal weight cuts she had to go through.
I don't feel it's going to affect me more or less. I still dehydrate so much to go to, even if it's 1.5 pounds over.
Particularly during her title fight at UFC 193, Letourneau's weight cuts have had visible effects on her performance. She once revealed that she had to cut 12 pounds of water in the last 24 hours before a fight, which is a huge amount for a body of 127 pounds. This extreme dehydration, coupled with the UFC's ban on rehydration through IVs, made it extremely challenging for her to perform at her best. However, things started to look up for Letourneau when she was scheduled to face Joanne Calderwood at UFC Fight Night 89. This fight was set to be the UFC's first female flyweight bout, which meant Letourneau only had to cut down to 125 pounds. This new weight division was a welcome change for Letourneau, who had previously stated that 125 pounds was the weight class she should be fighting at. Despite the challenges she's faced, Letourneau remains a formidable force in the octagon. She's expressed her desire to see the UFC open a flyweight division for women, stating that it would allow her and other fighters to compete at a healthier weight. With her determination and resilience, we're excited to see what the future holds for this incredible fighter. Johnny Hendricks, a celebrated fighter, has had his fair share of weight-cutting issues. He famously missed weight for his title fight against Robbie Lawler at UFC 171. This wasn't a simple miss either. Hendricks needed a second attempt to make weight for this high-stakes fight. The consequences of Hendricks' weight-cutting problems were severe. At UFC 192, he was pulled out of his fight against Tyrone Woodley due to a blockage in his intestine while cutting weight. Just hours before the UFC 192 weigh-ins, Hendricks checked into a Houston emergency room with a kidney stone and an intestinal blockage. This shocking development resulted in the cancellation of his co-main event fight against Woodley. Hendricks' approach to weight cutting has often been described as a tough-it-out approach. He has previously said that his weight cut averages about 25 pounds, a significant amount by any standard. During his college wrestling days at Oklahoma State, he even ballooned up to 218 pounds before undertaking his cut. Hendricks' weight-cutting issues have had a significant impact on his career. He has openly discussed having a poor diet and a boom-and-bust cycle common in the wrestling game where he got his start. Following his weight-cutting mishap at UFC 192, UFC President Dana White announced that Hendricks was considered a middleweight, indicating a potential shift in his fighting weight class. Through his struggles, Hendricks has learned some hard lessons. After his weight-cutting debacle, he acknowledged his mistakes and expressed a determination to improve. He recognized the need to lose more fat or move up to a heavier weight division, hinting at a possible shift in his approach to weight management. Renan Barao, the former UFC bantamweight champion, is known for his extreme weight cuts. Barao is known to cut around a whopping 40 pounds of weight before his fights. That's like losing the weight of a medium-sized dog in a matter of days. To put it into perspective, that's nearly a third of his body weight. Barao's weight cuts have had significant impacts on his career. He was scheduled to face TJ Dillashaw for the UFC bantamweight title at UFC 177, but on the day of the weigh-ins, Barao passed out while cutting weight. This was a clear indication of how severe weight cutting can be. Not only did he miss out on the opportunity to fight for the title, but he also had to be admitted to the hospital. Barao's incident is a stark reminder of the dangers of extreme weight cutting in MMA. It's a practice that's been under scrutiny for years, with many arguing that it's a dangerous practice that can lead to serious health complications. In Barao's case, the weight cut was so severe that it led to him passing out. This incident led to a shift in Barao's weight division for his future fights. After his ordeal with weight cutting, Barao made the decision to move up to the featherweight division. This transition allowed him to cut less weight and compete in a healthier state. Despite the challenges he faced, Barao's story is a powerful testament to the resilience and determination of MMA fighters. Chris "Cyborg" Justino, a Brazilian mixed martial artist, is known for her extreme weight cuts. Justino is known to cut large amounts of weight during fight week, often making it down to 140 pounds for her fights. That's like losing the weight of a medium-sized dog in a matter of days. To put it into perspective, that's nearly a third of her body weight. Justino's weight cuts have had significant impacts on her career. Her weight cuts are so severe that she has been reported to walk around at 170 pounds when she's not competing. This is a clear indication of how severe weight cutting can be. Not only does it affect her performance in the ring, but it also impacts her overall health and well-being. Justino's weight cuts have had significant consequences. She has had to endure a brutal weight cut to get down to 140 pounds for her upcoming fight against Lina Landsberg in the UFC. This weight cut was so severe that it had her in tears during the final stages before she made weight. Justino's approach to weight cutting has been described as tough and unyielding. She has brought in noted nutritionist George Lockhart to oversee her weight cut for the second time as she prepares to get down to 140 pounds. Despite the severity of her weight cuts, Justino believes in her team and thinks everything will be all right. Conor McGregor, the UFC featherweight champion, is known for his extreme weight cuts. McGregor is known to cut large amounts of weight during fight week, often making it down to 145 pounds for his fights. That's like losing the weight of a medium-sized dog in a matter of days. To put it into perspective, that's nearly a third of his body weight. McGregor's weight cuts have had significant impacts on his career. His weight cuts are so severe that he has been reported to walk around at 170 pounds when he's not competing. This is a clear indication of how severe weight cutting can be. Not only does it affect his performance in the ring, but it also impacts his overall health and well-being. McGregor's weight cuts have had significant consequences. He has had to endure a brutal weight cut to get down to 145 pounds for his fights. This weight cut was so severe that it had him looking gaunt and malnourished. Despite becoming the undisputed featherweight champion, he later vacated the belt and never returned to the weight division because of the extreme weight cuts. McGregor's approach to weight cutting has been described as tough and unyielding. Despite the severity of his weight cuts, McGregor believes in his team and thinks everything will be all right. His longtime coach, John Kavanagh, has admitted that McGregor's weight was extreme and unhealthy, but the Irishman would never cut back down to 145 pounds. But why is weight cutting so tough, especially for women? Here's a little science for you. Due to hormonal differences, women may find it harder to lose weight than men. It's tougher for women to shed water weight, and they need to prepare their bodies beforehand for losing all of that water. So the weight cutting process can indeed be tougher for female fighters. But the question remains, is weight cutting really necessary? It's been a topic of debate for years, with many arguing that it's a dangerous practice that can lead to serious health complications. The UFC has been taking steps to address the issue, but it's clear that there's still a long way to go. Well, that's it for this episode, fight fans. What are your thoughts on weight cutting in MMA? Leave your comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more MMA insights. As always, keep your guard up and stay in the fight.